What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's CJ. This is Out of Bounds, and in today's video, we're going to be doing our very first PrizePicks board breakdown for the NBA slate. February 1st, guys. It's the first of the month. Wake up, wake up, wake up. It's 1:45 here on the East Coast. Last night was a very, very good night if you were in the Discord. By the way, link to the Discord is in the description of this video. But a very good night if you're a member of the premium PrizePicks channel. Everybody except for me made a whole bunch of money. I did profit. It just wasn't very much. I think it was enough for, maybe a couple of double cheeseburgers, maybe a drink, but it's profit. It was more than I started the night with, so we'll count it. So that's 2 nights in a row now on this new streak that we began, and also 6 days and 7 nights that we've made money on PrizePicks. But anyway, if this is your first time into the channel, welcome. Here on Out of Bounds, we talk daily fantasy sports, we talk off the field sports stories, and everything in between. So if you're a sports nut like I am, this is the channel for you. Hit subscribe. What are you waiting for? Turn on notifications, go down, like the video, comment, and definitely share it with the entire world as we continue our quest for world domination. And we can't do world domination without you. So definitely share it and do all the things that I mentioned. We got a huge slate of games today. Huge slate of games today. Easy for me to say. 10 games, guys. 10 games. So let's get to it. Injury news. LeBron James, questionable with the ankle sprain. That never gets better, apparently. Steven Adams, questionable with calf tightness. Yusuf Nurkic out with a wrist injury. CJ McCollum out with a foot injury. Karl Anthony Towns is doubtful. He's likely out until there's an update. Devin Booker questionable with a hamstring strain. DAngelo Russell questionable due to rest. He might sit on a back-to-back. Valanciunas out due to COVID protocol. Anthony Davis questionable with a quad contusion. Terry Rozier questionable with a right ankle sprain. Wendell Carter Jr. is out indefinitely. DeAndre Hunter out. Kevin Love out indefinitely. Naz Reid is questionable with a right wrist sprain. Tyler Herro questionable with, COVID. He just came off of injury with the neck thing, but... and finally, George Hill is out due to a thumb injury. So those are the biggest names to know, the biggest news stories in terms of injuries. So let's get down to business. We got a pretty big slate here. We're going to have to start sifting through it. And let's start with the guy whose ankle is always hurt, but somehow continues to play through it. LeBron James, projected for 48 tonight. Let's see where they like him over on Roto Grinders. Well, pretty healthy under on LeBron, 45.65. Let's take a look at his game logs real quick. In his last game, 37.9 against Boston, 46.4 against Detroit, 48.7 against Philly, a big 73.6 against Cleveland, and a 39.2 against Chicago. I don't see a game in here with LeBron versus the Hawks, so let's move ahead and talk minutes tonight. 35 minutes is his projection. He's a versatile forward who shouldn't have an issue here against Atlanta. Atlanta ranking 27th. This is 2 games and 3 nights for LeBron, playing a little over 33 minutes a night, putting up a very impressive 1.38 fantasy points per minute, and his usage is nearly 33, which is elite. 32.73. Very good usage for LeBron James. Now the totals and spread here, Atlanta 106.5 at home, LA 111.5 on the road, so they are a 5-point favorite. I wouldn't call this green. I'd probably put it in the yellow range for me because I do think that there's a chance that LA can, if everybody comes out and plays like they should, that they can run away with this game. But I'd put it in that green to yellow range, we'll call it. But there you have it on LeBron. If you're taking him in a full game format, they do like the under on Roto Grinders today. Now let's skip ahead here and talk the Atlanta Hawks side. Clint Capela. He is at 40. He, I think, was a little higher the last couple of nights, but they've brought him down a little bit to 40. And there was a streak that he was on where he was just absolutely crushing 40 fantasy points night in and night out. Let's see where they have him tonight on Roto Grinders. They got him as a slight under at 39.44. Let's open up his game logs. And Capela, 42.3, so that would be good for an over tonight. 28.2, though. Disappointment there. 45.1, that would be good for an over as well. And we go back a little further here because he missed that game, 68.8 and a 79.2. But if we go back even further, 55-56. So, guys, he was playing a lot more minutes back then, 36, 39, 38, 30, 34. His last couple of games have been, a little light in the minutes category, 29, 29.8. So just under 30 minutes. So let's see how many minutes they like him to play tonight. They've got him projected for 32. He's considered a post-up big, and LA ranks 10th against post-up bigs. He is playing just a shade under 30 minutes a night on average at 29.8 minutes, putting up a very good 1.36 fantasy points per minute, and his usage is 18.65, but that's okay because he's not the type of big guy who's going to be handling the ball a whole lot. He's really only touching the basketball when he's rebounding it, blocking a shot, maybe getting an easy bucket off of a lob or a putback. He's not the type of guy that they're going to be like running the offense through. That's where Trae Young comes in. So there you have it on Clint Capela. They got him at 39.44, so that'd be a slight under on his projection. Let's skip ahead because we got a lot of names to talk about. The next one we'll talk about, let's go LaMelo Ball. There's a chance that Terry Rozier does not play tonight. And if he doesn't play tonight, that'll open up more minutes for LaMelo Ball. And Ball had a very good game, if I'm not mistaken, in his last one. But let's go take a look and see for sure. Tonight they got Ball at 33.02. Woo, big over on this 29. So that would put him 4 points over. Now his last game, I did mention he had a big one. It was against the Milwaukee Bucks. He put up 57.5 points. His minutes are up in his last two games, guys. So I like to see that. 29.78 and 31.02. So someone in Charlotte is finally starting to catch on and saying, hey, let's play this guy a little bit more. And he's producing. So I don't think his projection of 29 is quite enough, especially if Terry Rozier sits. So there you have it for Ball, and you can see what he's been up to in his last couple. I don't have a game log of him versus Miami here recently, so let's move ahead and see how many minutes they like him to play. They got him slated at 30 minutes. He is a pass-first point guard, Miami ranking 7th against pass-first guards. This is 3 games and 4 nights for LaMelo. He's been playing about 25 minutes a night on average, 1.26 fantasy points per minute. Very good in terms of fantasy point per minute production from LaMelo Ball. And his usage is over 25 at 25.51. So very good usage, very good fantasy points. Now let's take a look at the game totals and spread here. Miami 111.25 at home versus Charlotte, who is at 105.25. So there is a 6-point spread here. Miami has a chance to possibly run away with this one. I'd probably put this one in that yellowish range in terms of blowout potential, but that's not going to stop me from taking LaMelo Ball and the over. I mean, that's just too many points over PrizePicks. So I really do like that 33 for Melo. But let's talk the other side of the ball. We won't talk Tyler Herro because there's a chance that he may not play tonight due to COVID, as we talked about at the top of the show. So let's go back to Jimmy Butler. I believe Jimmy Butler's last game, there was a single stat prop out there of him going over points, and someone in the Discord really liked that single stat prop, and he ended up doing it. He ended up going over, I think it was like 15.5 points. It was very doable for Jimmy Butler. So let's see what kind of projections he's got tonight. Well, they're expecting 40.53 fantasy points, which would put him over this 38 by quite a bit here. Now let's open up the logs and see if there's any reason to believe he can do that. Well, my, would you look at that? His last game, he played over 33 minutes and put up a very, very good 50.4 fantasy points. Now, you would have expected, as did I mean, anyway, for like 3 weeks in a row, this guy hadn't played a basketball game. Well, he came back in and played over 33 minutes in his first game back and put up that 50 points. So I think that eases my concerns, eases my worries that Jimmy Butler would be on some sort of minutes restriction, that they would kind of slowly ramp up his minutes. I think he's safe to play. I mean, it looks that way. And Roto Grinders, they tend to agree with that. 34 minutes is his projected minutes tonight. He's a scoring wing, ranking 4th, does Charlotte, against scoring wings. So on paper, it's a tough matchup, but this is Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Buckets. Are we worried about anybody on Charlotte stopping Jimmy Butler? Who's it going to be, Gordon Hayward? No, I don't think so. 2 games in 3 nights, 29.6 minutes per game, 1.32 fantasy points per minute, and his usage rating is over 27 at 27.03. So I love it. I like the over on Jimmy Butler. Penning this game doesn't get out of hand, and Miami runs away with it. If you are worried about that, though, this could be a very good situation for you to take a first half play on Jimmy Butler and take the over. I like that play for Mr. Jimmy Buckets. Let's move ahead to the next game. We've got the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Ooh, who do we want to talk about? Let's go DAngelo Russell. I know he might be rested on a back-to-back, and that does concern me a little bit, but we're going to talk about him anyway. Let's hope for the best. Let's just hope for the best for D-Lo. I think he's at shooting guard. Yep. 35.51 is his projection tonight. I believe last night, the first half of that back-to-back, the premium PrizePicks spreadsheet that I put together had DAngelo Russell going under. Well, guys, he went way under, and that ended up being a very good, solid money play there. If you look at his last 2 games, he struggled. 25.7 last night against Cleveland, 21 against Philly. Missed the 3 previous games, going back 4 games ago, or his 3rd game, really. 15.4, 37.4, and a 57.1. So DAngelo Russell's not doing so well right now. For whatever reason, guys, he's just out of it. And he's been up and down all season. His game logs, have fluctuated. There's been really great ones, and then there's been a lot of really bad ones too. So I don't trust this guy. I don't trust him to go over one bit if he does play tonight. This is a rematch against Cleveland. He struggled last night against Cleveland. If he steps out on the floor, I'm probably taking the under again on DAngelo Russell, but let's look at the minutes. 32 minutes, he's a combo guard. Cleveland, kind of tough against combo guards, but, they rank 15th, so maybe that had something to do with DAngelo Russell struggling last night. Now, this is a back-to-back 3 games and 4 night situation for him. He's playing over 30 minutes a night, 1.1 fantasy points per minute, and his usage is very good, actually elite at over 30.77. Now, if we look at the game totals and logs here, Cleveland, 111.75. Minnesota, 106.75. So talking about a 5-point spread, it's not enough to make me concerned here, but I am concerned with the individual that we're talking about, DAngelo Russell. So I'd probably still lean toward taking the under on Russell tonight. But of course, if you're in the premium PrizePicks channel and you have access to the spreadsheet, I will definitely do a deeper dive on DAngelo Russell site by site, and we'll get a better idea, better picture of what to expect from D-Lo tonight. Let's talk about the other side of this game. We'll go with Darius Garland, because Darius Garland is back. Now, last night, he started off the game kind of shaky against Minnesota. And the reason I say that is because he got into some early foul trouble. I think by the end of the first quarter, he had already picked up 3 fouls. But Darius Garland did save a lot of people's bacon last night. He went over his single stat prop of points. And we all love Darius Garland for that today, let me tell you. But let's talk about his projection here on Roto Grinders today. Darius Garland, 26.78 fantasy points. Let's open up his logs and take a look at what he's been up to since returning from that shoulder injury. 25.9 last night, 31.1, 25.4. I'm going to throw these 3 games out and not really give them much consideration. You could see his minutes were pretty depressed here, 22, 23, 25, and now they're up at 31, 29, and 31. So he's playing right around 30 to 31 minutes in his last 3 games. So based on his projection tonight, though, he's only went over that 26 marker just once, and it was against the New York Knicks. So I think he would have done it last night if he hadn't gotten into that early foul trouble. But let's look at his minutes tonight and see where they like Garland. Garland projected to play 32 minutes. Minnesota doesn't do very well against combo guards like Garland. They rank 23rd in the league. This is a back-to-back for him, 3 games and 4 nights. He's playing 31.5 minutes a night, 0.86 fantasy points per minute. And his usage is at 23.98, so just a shade under 24. Not bad for Darius Garland. So there you have it. I liked him for his last night's single stat prop, but I don't know if I love him tonight as far as fantasy points go. Let's talk the next game. We got the New York Knicks and Julius Randle taking on the Chicago Bulls and Zach LaVine and company. So tonight, Randle is projected for 44. Let's see where they've got Mr. Randle tonight. Roto Grinders likes a major under on Julius Randle. They've got him projected at just 41.01. Let's open up his game logs and try to figure out why that is. Well, his last game against the Clippers, he did well, 45.9. That was yesterday. He played in one of the early games, so interesting there. 38.6 against Cleveland, 34 against Utah. A couple of down games there for him. 41.9 against Portland 4 games ago, and 48 against Sacramento 5 games back. So that's where I normally see Randle, is in the 40-plus point category. These 30s were definite down games. Looking at his game logs, though, no previous matchup against the Bulls, so let's move ahead and talk minutes. 36 minutes is his projected total tonight. He's a versatile big, and Chicago doesn't do a great job against versatile bigs, ranking just 17th. This is a back-to-back for Randle and 3 games in 4 nights. He's playing 36.5 minutes per game, very healthy minute total. 1.21 fantasy points per minute, and his usage is over 27. So for a big man like Randle, those are very good metrics for sure. Now let's talk game total and spread. Chicago at home, 111. New York, the away team, underdogs, 106.5. So you're talking about a 5 to 6 point spread on this game. I don't think that that's cause for concern in terms of blowout potential. So if you want to take Randle in a full game format, by all means, definitely do. It could blow out, and if it does, taking the under on him looks to be the right play. As you can see on Roto Grinders, they got him about 3 points under his PrizePicks projection. Let's talk about the other guy that I mentioned earlier, Zach LaVine. 42 is his fantasy points projection on PrizePicks. Let's see where they have LaVine over on Roto Grinders. Shooting guard? Yep, shooting guard. He's the highest projected shooting guard in terms of fantasy points tonight. 42.73. Let's open up his recent game logs and see what he's been up to. So he's got a 40.4. Good game, but not good enough for going over tonight's projection of 42. 41.7, another good game, but would have fallen short on tonight's projection. 35, kind of a downer, would have been under. 49.7 and a 52.3. So out of his last 5, he's got 2 games where he's went over tonight's projection of 42. And as we mentioned, no previous matchup here that I can see for LaVine versus the Knicks. So moving ahead to the minutes, 36 minutes. He's a scoring wing. New York ranking number 1 in the league against scoring wings. Kind of surprising. Pretty good defensive team against scoring wings. 2 games and 3 nights for LaVine. He's playing 35.5 minutes a night, 1.2 fantasy points per minute, and his usage is over 30, putting him in that elite stratosphere. And that's going to do it for LaVine, guys. I mean, people are probably going to take the under, and I kind of agree that in his last few games, he hasn't gotten there. I'd probably lean toward the under as well, especially if it blows out. Then he's not playing heavy minutes. But let's keep going. Let's keep moving and grooving. Got the Portland Trailblazers taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. Damian Lillard versus Giannis Antetokounmpo. Must-see TV. Very, very good matchup there. Let's take a look at Dame time and see if 50 points is within reach. Well, they've got him at 49.64 on Roto Grinders, so if we rounded that up, that would be 50. So maybe there's not an edge to be had here. But let's look at his recent game logs. 62.5 against the Bulls, 44.3 against the Rockets, 45.2 against OKC, 57 against New York, good game there, and a 48.6 against the Spurs. Going back in time, I don't see any games against the Milwaukee Bucks. So let's skip ahead and talk minutes tonight. 37 minutes. Combo guards against Milwaukee. Tough matchup against the Bucks. 2 games and 3 nights. Over 36 minutes played per night. 1.27 fantasy points per minute for Dame time. And 31.73 usage ratings. Very good usage as well. Now, looking at the game totals and spread here, Milwaukee is a sizable favorite, guys. This does have serious blowout potential. I would put this one definitely in the red zone. So if you're going to be taking anyone from this game, please don't take them in a full game format. And if you do, take the unders. And if you take the unders, don't take them on the superstars like Giannis and Dame, because there's a chance that these guys could get theirs in 3 to 3.5 quarters of playing time. I would probably take the role players and take the under in a full game format, or play the first half format only and take the overs on the guys like Damian Lillard, like Giannis, like Chris Middleton, guys that you know are going to be heavily involved, high usage rating, high fantasy point per minute guys. Take the over on them. That's how I'm approaching it, and I think you should too. Moving on to the next guy, Giannis Antetokounmpo. 56 is his projection tonight. Let's see where they like Giannis on Roto Grinders. 55.68. So that would be enough to put him under, but barely. If we round that up, that's a tie with PrizePicks. Now in his last 3 games, he has been a monster. 69.1, 66.7, 60.1. 53.8, still a good game, but not good enough for his projection tonight. And a 37.9, another good one, but not good enough for his projection tonight. His minutes have been much higher in recent days. 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 39. So you can see he's playing a whole bunch more minutes than he was in his games back at the beginning of the month of January. You got some 27s in there, 28, 32, 33. So we like seeing those minutes up above 36 for Giannis. No game logs against Portland. 34 minutes is his expected total tonight. He's a versatile forward. Portland ranking just 21 in the league against versatile forwards. 3 games and 4 nights for Antetokounmpo. Playing over 33 minutes per game. 1.58 fantasy points per minute. That's going to probably be the best on the slate tonight. Very, very good fantasy points per minute guy. And then over 34 usage rating, 34.62. It doesn't get much better in terms of usage or fantasy points per minute for a player. So you can feel confident about taking Giannis in a first half only over format, depending on what they have his projection at. So there you have it. Now let's move ahead. We've got the Sacramento Kings versus the New Orleans Pelicans. We've got Darren Fox, Rashawn Holmes, Buddy Hield. We're going to talk Darren Fox. Darren Fox is projected for 40 points tonight. Let's just see about that. Darren Fox, they like an under, pretty big under on him, 37.57. So even if we rounded that up to 38, that's still 2 points under his PrizePicks projection. So let's open up the game logs and see what he's been up to. Well, his last one was very good, 44.2 against the Heat. The one before that, 28 against Toronto. He struggled against the Raptors. 3 games back, 41.6, 4 games back, 42.1, and then a 37.3. And I'm just going to call this big 77.3 out. How can I come all the way down here and not mention this 77.3, especially when it was against the New Orleans Pelicans, who he's playing tonight? Is he going to get 77.3 again tonight? No, I don't think that, but I do think that there's a good chance he could go over based on what he's done in this little window of games here. He's went over 41, 2, 3, 4 times out of 6 games. So I like those odds. I like that. That might work. His minutes tonight, 34. He's a combo guard. Combo guards against the Pels. The Pels aren't very good. 19 against combo guards. 3 games and 4 nights for Fox, playing just under 32 minutes a night. 1.15 fantasy points per minute in his usage rating, 30.83. So both of those categories very good for Fox. Now let's look at the game totals and let's talk spread, because we don't want to play anybody if they're going to be in a blowout game. And it doesn't look like this one is any threat to blow out. New Orleans 117.75, Sacramento 114.75. So you're talking about a 3-point difference there. Not any concern in terms of a blowout. I kind of like taking the over on De'Aaron Fox. That's my pick. Zion Williamson, the next guy up on the board, 40 is his fantasy point score projection. He's been between 39 and 40 for most of these last few games. Let's look at Roto Grinders and see where they have him tonight. Zion, 38.44. So that would be an under on the Z-Man. Let's open up his game logs. His last game, 39.4 against Houston. Previous two, 46.3 and a 44.4. Those both look really good. Got a 40.7, which would be just enough. All we need is 0.1 over 40 to get him over tonight's projection. So he's got 3 games out of his last 5 where he's went over 40. 3 out of 5, not bad, not bad. Going all the way back to January 17th when he faced Sacramento for the first time, he put up 39.2. So if you were to take the over on Zion tonight on his 40-point projection and he put up 39.2, you would be a sad, sad camper. His minutes tonight are 33. He is a versatile forward. Sacramento ranks 15th against versatile forwards, so not a tough matchup, but not an easy one. 3 games and 4 nights, playing just under 33 minutes a night. His fantasy points per minute are very good at 1.17, and his usage rating, 27.51 for the usage. So there you have it for Z-Man. They like the under, and, I don't know about that one. I don't know if I like the under, because you saw his game logs. He's gotten it done in his last 5 games 3 out of 5 times and come really close in that game against Houston in the last one. So be careful with Zion. That's one of those ones where I don't feel like there's a good, edge either way. But we'll do a further breakdown in the premium spreadsheet that all the premium members have access to. So we'll dig a little deeper for you guys as we always do. But we've got to move ahead and talk the next game. We've got the Houston Rockets versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. The highest projected player for the Rockets is Christian Wood at 43. So let's talk Christian Wood. Over on Roto Grinders, they got him at 44.07, which puts him a point over his projection of 43. If we open up the game logs, 42.8 against New Orleans, 39.4 against Portland. Missed the previous 3 games. So we go back further, 46.2, 42.3, and 57.1. This guy puts up some pretty good fantasy points. 43, he's went over 43 2 out of his last 5 games. 2 out of his last 5 games. So that's tough. That's tough. I don't see a game log of him versus OKC. So we jump to the minutes. Excuse me, allergies down here in Florida. Let me tell you, boy. 34 minutes tonight. He's a versatile big. Versatile bigs ranking 19th, so not a very good matchup. Or actually, it is a good matchup for Wood. Not a very good matchup for OKC. 2 games and 3 nights, averaging 33 minutes per game, 1.32 fantasy points per minute, which is a very good number for him. Actually, he's the 3rd highest fantasy points per minute power forward on the board, so very good. And then his usage is over 25 at 25.83 for Christian Wood. Now we got to look at the game total and the spread. OKC 109.5 at home. Houston 114.5 on the road. They are the favorites. So this game has a 5-point implied spread on it. Not a green for me, but green yellow maybe in that range in terms of blowout risk. So be careful. Just be careful. You can always take him in the first half if you're worried about any kind of blowout risk. I encourage you to do that more often than not. Those first half overs on these studs, these stars like Wood and SGA, I mean, that's a good play most nights. So let's talk SGA. He's at 41 today. 41 is his fantasy projection on PrizePicks. On Roto Grinders, they like the under on SGA, 40.29. Let's open up his recent game logs and take a peek. In his last one against Brooklyn, 35.3. Not a good game there. 49.4, though, against Phoenix. Very good. 49.8 against Portland. 38.7 against the Clippers in a back-to-back against them. And in the first half of that back-to-back, he put up a very good 48.6. So as you can see, in his last 5 games, he has went over his PrizePicks projection tonight of 41 3 out of 5 times. So not bad at all. I don't have a game log of him versus Houston to talk about, so we're going to skip ahead to the minutes where he's expected to play 34 minutes tonight. He's a combo guard, and Houston doesn't do a very good job against combo guards. They rank 29th, which is almost dead last in the league. So a very good matchup for SGA. He's playing over 33 minutes per game, 33.6 to be exact, and then 1.19 fantasy points per minute, and his usage is elite. It's 27.08, so very good there. Yeah, that's going to do it for me on SGA. They like the under, so there you have it. Let's move ahead and talk Dallas Mavericks point guard, or should I call him a point god at this point? Because Luka Doncic is not a mere mortal. No, he is a very, very good basketball player. He's taking on Phoenix. Chris Paul, Luka Doncic should be a very fun matchup. Let's see where they've got Doncic tonight. Ooh, well, how about that? That's a pretty big under. If we round it down, that would be 50, which would put him 4 points under his projection versus PrizePicks. Now, his last 3 games have not been good, guys. 45.1, 43.7, 42.8. Under on tonight's projection. Now, he had a monster one against Denver, 82.2, but then back down we go to 44. So, his last 5 games, he has been under his projection of 54. He's been under his projection of 54, 4 out of his last 5 games. This guy's like a ticking time bomb, though, right? You never know when it's going to happen, but you know it can happen. That Luka Doncic could just erupt and explode, right? So we got to be careful with him. And I'm just realizing, sorry I'm so dark. I'm so dark in this video. Can I like brighten this up a little bit? Hey, there we go. The weather outside's a little cloudy, a little dreary. So sorry about that. I didn't realize how dark it was in here. They even have a lamp on over there. Anyway, back on track here. Luka has been struggling. That's the point I'm trying to make. And I don't have a game log of him versus Phoenix to compare to. So let's move ahead to minutes. 35 minutes is his projection. He's a combo guard. Combo guards against the Suns, 24th. They rank 24th, so not very good against combo guards. This is a somewhat easy matchup for Luka. 3 games and 4 nights, playing nearly 35 minutes a night, 1.55 fantasy points per minute. Show me a point guard averaging more fantasy points per minute than Luka Doncic. You can't. You can't do it. His usage, 36.16. Show me a point guard who has more usage, a higher usage rating than Luka Doncic. You can't do it because he's the highest. So you love the usage and you love the fantasy points per minute with Luka. You pretty much know what you're going to get from this guy most nights, although we can't forget that he has been struggling lately. So keep that one in mind. Now we continue on our journey and we talk Phoenix Suns. We're going to mention Chris Paul because without Devin Booker in the lineup, Chris Paul's usage and everything else should go up. He should be relied on more to score. He should be relied on more to facilitate the offense. So let's look at Chris Paul, CP3, and see where they like him tonight on Roto Grinders. Got him at 33.62. So if you remember math class, anything 33.5 or more, we're rounding up. Yeah, I think that's right. We're rounding up on Chris Paul, calling it 34. But that still puts him under. Even if we round up, that still puts him as a sizable under versus his 37-point projection tonight. Now let's open up his logs here. 59.6 against Dallas in his last game. My, oh my. And I just realized I made a mistake. Luka does have a previous game log against Phoenix. It was the last game where they faced each other, and he didn't do very well. So maybe even more of a case to take the under on Luka there. Anyway, Chris Paul had a big game in his last one, but then he had a bad one against Golden State, 24.6, 44.5 against OKC, 55.3 against Denver, and a 37.3 against Denver. So in his last 5 games, guys, he's went over tonight's projection once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. 4 times he's went over 37 in his last 5. So, without Devin Booker in there, I kind of like him to go over again. I'm kind of baffled, perplexed, flummoxed. I'm flummoxed that he is under his projection on Roto Grinders. But let's move ahead. He's a distributor, and he shouldn't have a tough matchup here. He smashed against Dallas in the last game. Why can't he do it again, right? 2 games and 3 nights for Paul, playing over 32 minutes a night, putting up 1.1 fantasy points per minute. And his usage is actually kind of surprisingly low. I would expect that to be higher, but that could be due in part to Devin Booker normally being in the lineup. So I expect his usage and his fantasy points per minute to rise tonight without Book in the lineup if he does indeed miss with that hamstring. Now, talking game totals and spread here, Dallas 110.5 at home. They are the favorites. Phoenix 107. So you're talking about a 2.5 point spread here. Game should stay close and competitive. Feel free to take Chris Paul over or under, however you're feeling about him. He's kind of one of these guys that's going to be a difficult read for me. You can feel confident taking him in a full game format or just take him in a first half only. And probably click the over in the first half if you're taking first half only on CP3. But we got to move ahead because we're running out of time. The last game, the Memphis Grizzlies versus the San Antonio Spurs. We're going to talk about these two guys right here, Ja and DeMar. Let's start with Ja. 39 is his projected total tonight. Let's move down the list. They've got him at 37.46 on Roto Grinders, so that would put him under his projection on PrizePicks. We would round that one down. I'm just never going to get used to this picture of Ja Morant. I'm sorry. Every time I click on it, I'm like, that looks like Adam Morrison, if any of you guys remember Adam Morrison. Anyway, in his last 3 games since returning from a long layoff, 32.9, 40.6, and a 26. His minutes kind of been unpredictable. 30 minutes against Philly, then it spiked up to 34 against Phoenix, and then dropped back down to 27.6 against San Antonio. So he's taking on San Antonio again tonight, so I hope he plays more than 27.6 minutes, especially if we like the over on him. But it's looking tough. It's looking tough to project him, to predict what he will do. 26 fantasy points, 40, and then 32.9. So let's move ahead and talk minutes for Ja. 34 minutes is his expected minute total. He is a combo guard. San Antonio ranking 18th against combo guards. Not a difficult matchup. Not the easiest, though. 2 games and 3 nights, playing just under 29 minutes per game. 1.27 fantasy points per minute, and his usage rating 32.74. Very good usage and pretty darn good fantasy points per minute when he is out there. We just need him to play minutes, guys. And that's true for all fantasy players, no matter the sport. If you're not out there on the field or the court or wherever you play, well, you're not going to score us any fantasy points, and you're no good to us, especially if we're taking the overs on these guys. So let's look at the game totals and spread real quick. San Antonio 112.25 at home. They're the favorites. Memphis 108.75. So you're talking about 3 to 4 point spread here. Not worried about a blowout at all. So they like the under on Ja, and you can kind of see why. He's been kind of up or down since returning from that long layoff. The other side here, DeMar DeRozan, 36 seems super low. This guy was at 40 just a couple of weeks ago, and he was crushing that 40. Let's take a look and see what he's been up to. Well, they've got him at 38.16. So they're thinking what I'm thinking, that this 36 might just be a little too low. PrizePicks odds makers, lines makers. Let's look at his game logs. Well, I don't know what happened here, but 6.7 fantasy points. I mean, he only played 25 minutes against Memphis in the last game that they played. That's kind of a weird one. 45.2 against Denver, 34.5 against Boston, 25.6 against Washington, and a 47.2 big game there against the Dallas Mavericks. So weird one. Maybe you guys can let me know in the Discord. Did he end up getting hurt? Why did he only put up 6.7 fantasy points? Why did he only play 25 minutes? I don't remember if it blew out or what, but strange game total there. Tonight, he's looking to play 34 minutes. He's a scoring wing. Memphis, they rank just 28th against scoring wings. I'm not really worried about the matchup whatsoever. In fact, this is a plus matchup for DeMar DeRozan, one in which he should do well, pending that he plays more than the 25 minutes that he played in the last game. This is 3 games and 4 nights. 33.5 minutes per game is his average, 1.13 fantasy points per minute, and his usage, 24.29, so just a little bit over 24. So good usage and good fantasy point per minute numbers for DeMar DeRozan. But that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Who stood out to you in this video? Who are you liking that maybe I mentioned? Maybe I didn't mention someone that you like. Let me know. And you taking the over or under? Drop a comment down below, guys. I appreciate all the comments, all the likes, all the shares. I want to keep growing the channel. I want to keep growing the Discord. It's making people a lot of money. If you're in the Discord and you're in the premium PrizePicks channel and you're using the spreadsheet that I put together for you guys every night, look, Christmas has come early for you. You're doing really well. Forget a stimulus check. I am your stimulus check. I'm making you stimmy check type money every night. You're welcome. This is why I'm here. Anyways, that's going to do it for me. My name's CJ. This has been Out of Bounds. Good luck tonight. Let's keep the money flowing and the streak going, and we'll catch you in the next one, guys. Peace out.